Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
And they can tell us we're crazy, and we can say, well, you haven't seen anything yet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Today, I want to talk about, I don't know, like everything. I want to talk about it all, man. It's a weird spot. Obviously, it has been for a while, but it's a weird spot that we're in. We have just so much fear being spread. So much of it. Gas shortages. Joe Biden. Oh my God. What I don't really understand why. I don't know how to put this. There's so much going on. And there's so much news coverage. And there's so much clear and present danger. Was that a Harrison Ford movie? And there just doesn't seem to be any recourse, resolve, desire to fix. And what I mean by that is, like, we as the subjects, citizens of this fair earth, are being pushed around by a group of people that are perpetually taking away liberties, rights, and freedoms. And I'm not, so many times there's, that term conspiracy theorist is thrown around. And I can't even, maybe at one point, like a while ago, that made sense. And sure, like, there was no proof to anything, but, like, I don't know, man. We sit here and there is, that fence is still up around the buildings. My brain is falling apart today. It's been a really long day, and it's only like 11 o'clock when I'm recording this. I don't even know if it's 11 o'clock. It's 11:30 on a Thursday. Do I have anything to do right now? God, man, this quarantine, I'll tell you right now, we're in Toronto, Canada, and we've been in the quarantine for like a year. And it's funny because, like, it doesn't really overly affect me, other than the fact that the gyms are still closed. But I was never one to, constantly be out in public buying things, being at the malls and all this sort of stuff. And we also never stopped doing shit like meeting with our families or anything like that, because that's all just fucking bullshit. But yeah, the days are just melding together. Like, we're halfway through fucking May, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, it was, I don't even know, March. What happened to April? Does anybody remember April? That was a good time. And it's just, okay, so the news is just consistent bombarding of garbage. It's just over the top bullshit. So we stop watching the news, and then people start talking, and then it's just over the top bullshit, right? And I know, this is supposed to be a positive podcast, and it is. It is. I'm going somewhere positive. Come on. You got to give me a little bit of a credit there. But it's a funny spot. It's a funny spot to be in. It's a funny spot to make realizations where how much more of this are we going to allow? Because right now today, we're going to get another announcement in Ontario from our super healthy Doug Ford, who is going to tell us that, hey, man, we're going to have to keep these lockdowns going because, oh, no, people are still sick. Oh, the flu still exists. It's laughable. It is laughable. Right? Now, if I timestamp this and if I call this right now, I could say, hey, we have more than likely June 20th would be the moment of release because that is technically the summer solstice. And if these guys are being ritualistic about their bullshit, then that's more than likely the day that they would release us from our prisons. The funny thing is about all of this as it goes on, the more you realize that it's only the message out there that's keeping you in any sort of lockdown, in any sort of prison. It's only them saying things to you. There's nobody enforcing this stuff. There's only a message. There's only a message, and then there's news articles. So-and-so broke up this. The police arrested this. Blah, blah, blah. So we read this shit on the news. And we say to ourselves that could be me. So I don't do anything, so I don't move, so I don't reconcile with any of this. So the stories that they share are the stories that keep us in prison. How do you keep an entire population in prison? You tell them stuff on the news. How do you keep an entire population low vibrational? You have them fight their neighbors. You release a million different articles about a million different things, and it's called doublespeak. And it's a war tactic. It's also an abuse tactic. So the majority of the world right now is upset and is depressed because of the news, because of the things that we've heard, because of stuff that we've taken in, specific stuff that the powers that be, those that are out there dictating how we think, feel, and do things, those are the stories that they want us to know. And when I say turn off the news, I fucking mean it. I mean turn off the news. I mean turn off the Facebook, turn off Instagram, turn off everything. Shut it down and go stand outside and tell me there's a difference. Now, of course, you're going to hear people say things like, well, that's just ostriching and putting your head in the sand. There's always somebody out there that wants to argue, because keep in mind, too, in the movie The Matrix, they talk about Agent Smith and all this sort of stuff. Now, if you correlate The Matrix, sure, we can do this 1,000 times over. If you correlate The Matrix to right now, Mr. Anderson, it seems you've been living a double life. Anybody in The Matrix can become an agent, as goes the story. Therefore, anybody you choose to surround yourself with, keep in mind you were dead asleep for a very long time inside this little bubble that we call Funland Matrix. Good times. So the people that you chose to associate with at those times were of like mind, were of sound mind, were of the same opinion as you. But since your opinion changed, these people are not only trained to believe everything they're told and question one or two things, but completely ignore the other 10 things. They're trained to make fun of you and anyone who can think freely, just like you were trained. How many times have you made fun of somebody because they said flat earth? I'm not saying the earth is flat, but it certainly is not a spinning space ball. I have no idea what or where we are. I have more questions than I've ever had before. Because before, I blindly accepted the story that was handed to me. And why wouldn't we be a space ball? Bendy earth, bendy water. Water doesn't bend. You can use science all you want. At no point ever in the history of anything does water bend. Now, of course, you're going to hear somebody say, well, what about a raindrop? And there you go. So maybe we are a giant raindrop inside an infinite something much larger than us. Who knows? But a space ball? Maybe. I mean, it's possible. It is possible because you're right. There's this drop, a water drop, a droplet does bend. Is this what I want to talk about? Not overly. But right now I am literally speaking into a microphone with my eyes closed and just rolling through a bunch of topics that are on my brain. 2 reasons I haven't recorded in a while. And I need to change the pace because the energy is really, really bleak. My energy, the energy of the ethos. I want to speak because I haven't spoken in a while. I want to talk because there's lots to say. And nobody really to talk to because a lot of people are too afraid. So back to the space ball. It's possible. But as it's delivered to us, the story, regardless of anything that you want to believe, the story of us being the third rock from the sun, traveling around the sun as the sun shoots through space, through infinite expansion, blah, 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 fucking blah. It's totally illogical if you put any thought into it whatsoever. Now, if you have a problem with that, I suggest you ask yourself why. If you have a problem with me, that's okay too. Actually, what was that post there? If you've got a problem with me, yet you listen to everything I do and watch everything I do, you're a fan. I like that. I like that theory. I also have the ability to say and think and do things that a lot of people say and think but we'll never do. Fearless, limitless is something that comes to mind. The idea of limitations are kind of gone now, because once you start breaking down the walls of what they've said, or when I say they, I'm not referring to any one person, because I have no idea who they are or what they are. Because as far as we know, if you want to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, there's a bunch of people that have an idea. The Bilderberg, the Trilateral Commission, all of these people. But fuck me, if they told us about that, if we're allowed to be aware of these things, then are they real? What's the distraction? If there's so many more questions. And now, yeah, you could go crazy. You could burn yourself through. You could do a lot of stuff. But I stand here on the precipice of free thought. And to swap out an idea of being fully asleep into an idea of being fully awake, you're literally living in two ideas. Therefore, you can believe the story that they've given you, or you can believe this other story that somehow they also gave you, but you had to do a little bit more digging for. And just a little bit more digging, because right under the surface is the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, these George Soros individuals. Cryptocurrency. Let's talk about this for a quick minute. There are a lot of people that are in this community, the truther community, as it were, singing the praises of cryptocurrency. My take on cryptocurrency is it's the middle ground. Now, with crypto, the way crypto is working right now, actually, let's go back to the dollar. With fiat currency, with the way the fiat currency is working right now, we have an agreed upon amount. Therefore, $1 holds value of $1 because you, the seller, and me, the buyer, both agree to the value of $1. So why does my Canadian dollar, why is that valued less than the American dollar? Because we were told it is, and because we agreed upon it. So I have to give you more because of the story that we were told. It's just a story, and it's just a piece of paper. I could snap open a 3-ring binder. You guys remember those things? Pull out a piece of paper and write $1 on it and say, here you go. And that's got zero value. Unless, of course, it's an IOU $1 with my signature on the bottom of it. Then the value in that lies within the signer of the piece of paper. So if $1 is $1 because you and I agree that it is $1, then that is the basis of the value of the dollar. But if somebody somewhere on a radio or a television show decides to say that dollars no longer hold any value whatsoever, and just like that, poofta, all the money's worthless. Everything you've ever worked for in your entire life is worthless. But it's impossible. How can they do that? There are checks and balances, systems in place. La 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 la. It's all slavery. Every single thing that you've ever done whilst earning your dollar, if you haven't been preparing yourself for who you're becoming, has been you off purpose. And then you're going to hear people say things like, well, I needed to buy a house. I needed to buy this. I needed to buy that. I've never seen a cow need to buy a house. Somebody sold us a story about all the things that we need, and they backed that shit up with MTV Cribs and Pimp My Ride. What up, Exhibit? We've got this idea in our head of everything that we want because it was put there. But have we been able to actually think for ourselves and say what we do and don't want? I'm not saying we want to live in the bush and be done with it, but tell me how peaceful that would be. Imagine you took your hands and the knowledge that you have to build yourself some sort of enclosure. And then you found out inside your brain and your knowledge of what nuts and seeds and berries you could eat and sustain yourself and live. One of my favorite quotes right now is there's some poor sucker sitting beside the most beautiful waterfall in the entire world that doesn't own a cell phone and doesn't know he's supposed to be afraid. Because even as I sit here and talk into this technology, these microphones, and I share my message with you, I love you guys, by the way. So don't take that any other way. And I'm just talking, and I think that we're all kind of relating. I hope we are. I mean, I would assume we are. And if we aren't relating, this is probably one guy going, what the fuck am I listening to right now? Son of a... I'm on the wrong side of the podcast list again, Ethel. But this is just a giant rambling of free thought, all of it. So every single thing that you think that you want was placed there. Your fashion, your shoes, your sunglasses, status. I need people to see this. I need more. There's always more. No matter what car you've got, there's another one that's nicer. And it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So back to the dollar. The dollar's not working anymore. Inflation is coming. Who the fuck knows what Joe Biden is? I mean, I've heard he's a hologram, all this stuff. This guy can't form a sentence. I don't care. I'm not making fun of any one guy. I'm making fun of the leader of the free world as a symbol. This guy is running the show? Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Don't even get me started on vaccinations. So, fiat currency now has to be parlayed into Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. So there needs to be a system of checks and balances that has us agree that crypto is worth something. So here's, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. This is my unsolicited advice. Ladies and gentlemen, if one Bitcoin currently is worth, I don't know, $48,000 American, that's because we agree that it is. That's because somebody somewhere said, it's mining some bullshit. And somebody else said, I agree. And somebody else said, I agree. But we only agree because we were given the opportunity to agree. Bitcoin, at the root of what it is total bullshit. Bottom line. But we also understand that money, fiat currency, paper dollars is going nowhere. Massive overinflation, bullshit regimes. Everything is crumbling around it because people aren't believing in it anymore. We're not believing the story anymore. COVID shows up, tells people to stay home, changes the way we're allowed to earn, work, do things, live, rips it out from under us. And it's a beautiful gift that it did that. Right? So you can look at this whole thing as a crazy negative or a crazy positive because none of us were really going to make any changes. Really. I mean, some of us were, but some of us weren't until we were forced into it, until we were forced to grow, learn, change, adapt. This is where our power is. So in what world do we need to agree to a dollar being a dollar? Well, in a world that there's a plan in place. And obviously there's a plan in place because now there's gas out. Michigan just cut off gas to like Ontario and Quebec. Why on earth are we allowing one state to dictate how much fossil fuels we can consume? Because fossil fuels come from the bones of dinosaurs. Yeah. What the fuck? Bro, has anyone, you know what? Just stop for a quick minute, all of you, and take just a peek at all the bullshit if you could somehow burn it through your brain right now, just in a real split second. I believe all of these things. Why the fuck do you believe those things? When we're fundamentally misled, every single thing from that fundamental fuckery is easy to change deceptions towards. So, the bones of dinosaurs. It's my car. I step on the gas and dinosaur bones run through my engine, and all of a sudden I'm going real fast. Dinosaur bones. Fossil fuels. What a great presentation that is. Now, who knew I was going to throw some fossil fuel shit in there, ladies and gentlemen? I'm all over the place today, and yes, my eyes are still closed. As I just burn through the thoughts that are inside my brain systematically, I don't know. None of this shit's scripted. I don't script any of this crap. Like, imagine trying to script this. Like I'm writing a fucking story. The best thing I could possibly do is have somebody like listen to my podcast and try to create something afterwards. But at the end of the day, man, everyone's like, how do you podcast? How do you say these things? How do you, like, where do you come up with these ideas? How do you go on for so long? How do you prattle on for so long? I don't know. I guess that's just something I take for granted, my ability to run my mouth. But, man, each and every one of you, I love the fact that you guys listen to me on a regular basis. I want to talk to you guys too, so I'm going to throw that out there again. I know it's a slow burn. We've had some calls come through, and I'm still slow with the technology. Honestly, it's so funny. Like, when was the last time you checked your voicemail, right? So I have to check this voicemail, and then I have to link it to some stuff and record. I don't know. I'm doing my best. But if you've got something you want to say, you want to get on the show, and you want to be heard, please, by all means, call 647-338-1265. If you're in the States, you can call 708-733-5001. I do believe the voicemail is set up on that. But again, in Canada, that's 647-338-1265. Yeah. Come on. Leave your voicemail. Talk about something. Let's address it, man. I could go on and on and on. Did I give any answers today? I don't know. All I really want to do is encourage more thought. I want everyone to sort of have an idea kind of inside their head about new things. Because even when you start doing these thoughts, even when you start having these thoughts and thinking these things, and then you get locked into this being the way it is, if you become argumentative, then you've closed your mind. So even if you're like, I'm so free-spirited and free-minded, but this is the way that this conspiracy is, then you're not. And you're doing yourself a disservice. Back to cryptocurrency. This was a whole giant spiel on what cryptocurrency is and how it works, but I got to talk about what fossil fuels, dinosaurs. I'm actually having a lot of fun. This is cathartic, man. If you are a podcaster yourself and you haven't recorded in a while, just get out there and record and be an idiot. Have some fun with it because, man, I feel a million times better having just done this because I was bummed out, man. Like I said, the days are just melding and merging together. Now we're rolling into the summer. Things are going to be good. It's going to be nice to get to the lake house and spend some time on the water. But at the end of the day, like, come on. So back to cryptocurrencies. We're going to have to agree to that this is the dollar amount. So the dollar amount's going to have to hold its value, even though massive inflation is currently taking place behind the scenes. Massive inflation is taking place. So eventually we're going to have all these cryptocurrencies that are going to be agreed upon to the fiat dollar. Therefore, these cryptocurrencies are valued at this dollar. Massive inflation is going to take effect on certain things. You're going to see bread go up, gas go up, lumber. Ladies and gentlemen, the lumber aisle is now the most expensive place in town. Everything is going to go up, and people aren't necessarily going to correlate their dollar amounts in their portfolios with what's going on with crypto or with inflation. Right? Because theoretically, the more things are inflated, the more value your portfolio will go up. So people are talking things like it costs now, like, I don't know, if a piece of wood costed, $1.50, $2.50 before, it now costs $7. But that's cool because your portfolio went from 300,000 to 700,000. And that's great. Right? So everybody's going to start making all this more extra money, but the thing is, all of that is also inflation. So when this goes up and up, and the housing prices, the housing market everywhere, people are making fun of the housing market. Housing market everywhere is going up and up and up. This shit's coming, bro. It is coming. It's like they're just recycling the roaring 20s of before. You guys remember how great that was? We all saw the movies. The Great Gatsby. And then what happened? Stock market crash. Brr, everything's gone. Nothing's worth anything. What the fuck are you talking about? It was just worth something yesterday. Well, what happened? Somebody said, nope, it's no longer worth anything. Word spread fast. Everybody panicked. People jumped off buildings. So goes the story. I don't know. I wasn't there. But is that coming again? Magic 8 Ball. Allow myself to shake you. All signs point to yes. But there's going to be a savior, cryptocurrency. Because everyone's going to have somewhere to go because people have too much information right now. Back in the previous 20s and 30s, we had our old-timey newspapers and our jitterbug. That's a dance, ladies and gentlemen, of the jitterbug. But now we have mass information. Now we have the ability to communicate with everybody. Here's another thing, too. Back 20, 30 years ago, when it comes to fear, the entire world is supposed to be kept in a state of fear, perpetual fear. Ozone layer, Cold War, blah, blah, blah. We're all at war where everybody could die at any moment now. But since it's politically incorrect to be mad at China or Russia, we have to be mad at each other and ourselves. So the doublespeak, again, the political doublespeak and the fear-mongering from COVID and from this fucking this vaccine virus bullshit is designed to make you fight with yourself, is designed to make you fight with your neighbor, and is designed to make you fight, period, and feel helpless and hopeless. This is by all means the definition of what we're supposed to be doing right now. There's something about this ethos, this world, this experience that we're having that says if you're a low vibrational character, things change for you. And it's like there's a game being played. I don't know. I'm just reporting the facts that I see. I'm just taking a look at things. I don't know. What I do know is that I have the ability to ask bigger fucking questions. I don't know. This could be the beginnings of the ramblings of a madman. But, I'll tell you what really sounds crazy to me is anyone that believes Joe Biden is doing a good job. Anyone that believes this gas shortage was by accident. He was in office for 2 minutes, and he's like, we're shutting down the pipeline. And then, boom, gas shortage. And then, boom, mysterious attack to see what happens to the East Coast. And then I think I saw a lady fucking putting gas into a garbage bag. This shit's all staged. Anyway. Cryptocurrency, to me, is going to be the middle ground between this and the quote-unquote New World Order, one world government, one world currency, one world whatever. Now, if they get there, who cares? There is no end result, ladies and gentlemen. We're all headed towards one thing. You know what? Fuck it. If you want it, take it. Right? If you guys want, if not you guys, but if they wanted to have this one world government, why wouldn't they just do it? Right? So there's so much more of these conspiracies and all these things that we can think about. And the problem here now lies with us. This is now dedicated to you and me, ladies and gentlemen. Don't argue with people. Don't think that you're right. And don't be overly righteous. Because every single person came to the knowledge that they have based on the research that they've done, research that you haven't done. Therefore, every piece of information that every single person has is valid to them. Equivalent. Imagine being in grade 12 and shitting on a grade 3 person because they don't know what you know. That's the same thing that we're doing with all of these people and all of these levels of education. And I mean levels of education as in what we've done the research on, plus what we've been allowed to see, plus the fact that all of the internet and everything that we've ever used to do our research has been sheltered, shifted, changed, altered, bleaked out, blacked out, censored. God, we're literally living in a giant world of Catch-22 where all we're getting is redacted bullshit everywhere. And everyone's got the answer. Use DuckDuckGo. Use this. Use that. Fuck. It's just more dissension. It's more opportunity to fight. So keep doing everything that you're doing, but remove the anger and aggression when dealing with each other. That's my only statement really on this whole thing. 2, crypto and how we talk to each other. And if you're angry at somebody, if you think they're an idiot, just don't fucking talk to them. You don't have to impress your will on everybody. Period. This world is designed for everybody to have their own thoughts, and that's really fucking cool. right? There's no need to be angry. There's no need to be low vibrational, angry, agitated, anything like this. The world is working against all of us. Every single thing that we can literally look at is working against us. What's real and what's tangible is the people in front of us. And the people in front of us, depending on who you're talking to, are trying to get you to see the bigger picture. What the people that are regurgitating the standard story don't understand is that each and every one of us came from there. We once drank the Kool-Aid, and then like the Kool-Aid man, we crashed through the walls of reality. And everything's a little bit different and everything's a little bit changed since then. So sure, have conversations with people, and if you can wake them up to certain things, then great, do it. But don't lose sleep over it. Don't stress out over it. Don't pull your hair out, and don't let anyone that's not quite able to see things dictate how you see things. So if you are kind to yourself and if you are kind to each other, then good things do happen. And I firmly believe that all of this stuff is designed to be perpetually crazier than it was yesterday, so that we wake up just a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
Thank you for listening to today's Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag MMA and Mental Mastery Alliance. Want more motivation? Be sure to follow online on Instagram at Mental Mastery Alliance and on Facebook at Mental Mastery Alliance. And remember, your perception creates your reality. Make it a great day.
You got it, Pontiac.